Coming to you live from the palatial studios of PBJ Productions. Welcome to Patrick and BJ Talk Real Estate, where we talk about life, the universe, and everything as it relates to real estate. Hey everybody, it's BJ.
And Patrick.
And we're back talking all things real estate. Thank you all for joining us today. And I just want to thank all of our subscribers that have subscribed already and all of you that are joining us on a regular basis. If you haven't, please take a minute and subscribe to the channel. We're putting out more and more regular content every week, and you just want to make sure that you don't miss anything. And if you think there's something that we cover that's going to help somebody or be informative for somebody, please send a link to them or share the video with them. And if you have things that you're saying, hey, we'd like to know about this, or we'd like you guys to talk about this, because we get that too, right? Whether we do a Q&A thing, or maybe we have
questions, comments,
or we've even done subject matter for the show based on some of the communication that we've received as well.
From responses and messages,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if there's something that you're interested in finding out about, certainly let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be amazing. But this time, I wanted to pick on, it's not a personal thing, I wanted to pick on as a response video to this guy, Luke. He runs a YouTube channel, and it's called Mania Canada. And he recently put out a video, and I thought, like, wow, seems very negative to the marketplace. And you know what? I think we pride ourselves. I think our goal is really to bring balanced content. If the market's doing really bad, we're going to talk about it. It's not always sunshine and daisies. I think there's challenges in good markets and bad markets. So I think there's a reason to discuss the real estate market at all times, right? To see where things fit. Yeah. But I kind of wanted to not debunk, but I wanted to add a little bit to this guy's video named Massive Real Estate Cover-Up Exposed. Housing Market Crash Evidence. I'm going to actually debunk the evidence.
Okay.
But I don't disagree with everything that Luke says.
Yeah, I know.
So we watched this video.
Yeah, we watched the video, and I would concur. There's some stuff we're going to talk about that he talks about with regards to immigration. That
you know what? Let's start with something positive.
Okay.
Before I start going on, maybe I go on a rant. You can never tell, right? Going down a rabbit hole.
Okay.
But he talks about immigration. The misperception of immigration driving, like house prices will never come down in Canada because of our record immigration numbers. High immigration numbers.
And it's interesting that he talks about this, because we've done a video breaking down and debunking that whole thing about immigration and its effect on the housing market. Now, and he talks about this also, that immigration has an effect on the rental market. And we talked about this in the context of international students as well, because they're taking part of that rental pool. But generally speaking, the immigrant family is not coming to Canada and buying a home.
Not immediately, right?
Right?
Yes.
They're coming to Canada to build a new life for them and their family, and over time, they're going to buy a home.
Yes.
But they're going to...
Perhaps, yes.
Yeah. And I'll go back to my childhood when we came here. We ended up, renting for... And I look back now and I know that we were renting. I didn't understand it then. But we rented for many years until my parents bought a home in St. Albert. And then they bought a bigger home outside in the country, and then they bought another home in Ardrossan, and eventually there was another home we lived in Sherwood Park, and from there I moved out, and I rented. So I say all of that to say that in general, the immigrant families are not. There may be some that are, but generally speaking, they're not coming to Canada and buying a home right now. Immediately.
Yeah, upon their arrival.
To say that they are the cause of the housing price and the economic crisis in the real estate market,
It's not factual. It's not true.
Yeah, it's sensationalist, and it's like taking the lowest hanging fruit, regardless of whether it's rotten or not, because in this case it's not true. And so I agree 100% with what he says about the whole immigrant situation.
I'm going to add
immigration.
more support to that statement that Luke has said on Market Mania Canada. We're also in a foreign buyer ban.
Yeah.
And before that, foreign buyers only, in Victoria, maybe we added up to like 1 or 2% of our total sales.
Yeah.
The lower mainland maybe saw closer to 2 to 3%. I don't know Vancouver's numbers, but it's probably similar.
Yeah, I believe.
I don't know Toronto's numbers, but it's probably similar.
It's probably going to be around 5%.
Yeah, anywhere.
tops.
Yeah, but not enough to affect the entire market either,
Yeah.
right? And then, and for BC, what do we have? We also have a 20% tax on foreign buyers. So whatever it is to qualify as a permanent resident or Canadian citizen to be exempt from this, that's a huge deterrent. That's a huge cost.
Yeah.
So they might look at
sure.
other provinces like Alberta.
Yeah.
Right? Because Edmonton is pretty busy right now. Calgary's pretty
Calgary's
busy
market is
right
picking
now.
up for sure. Yeah.
But they're also at different price points.
Yeah.
Okay. So I got that one out of the way. We agree. We agree with Luke on the immigration house.
It's not, immigration is not responsible for the cost of buying a home in Canada.
Right. But if the market housing is crashing and he has evidence. So there is a CTV News from Toronto. I'll even give you the reporter Hannah Alberga. Is that Alberga?
Sure.
She wrote an article highlighting some of these. This is where I think it's a little bit sensational. A Brampton house that sold for a $640,000 loss after it was listed a handful of times speaks to the state of the market in the outskirts of Toronto. So Brampton is a suburb basically of Toronto.
Okay.
It's just north of Mississauga. It's all the same to me, right? I don't know if you would consider Mississauga and Brampton like the GTA, the Greater Toronto Area,
Yeah.
but it's all the suburbs of Toronto. Okay, so this detached two-story house located at 27 Jacksonville Drive sold for $1.7 million January 5th. Okay, 2 years earlier, it sold for $2.3 million. So that's where they're accounting the $640,000 loss.
Right.
Let me add some context to this now.
Okay.
The average home for a Brampton house is somewhere in the mid-900s, maybe on the lower side of that. Brampton, because I was just looking at what is the median price, has lowered in the past year about 20%. So there's a huge difference between the median price and what a luxury home is.
Right.
So this is where I have the trouble with this. I don't see this as evidence. So if we're looking at any sort of a luxury collection of any of these I'm not going to mention the brokerage, but if they're included in like a luxury edition listing, we start to consider luxury properties at 50% greater than the average home price. So if it's 900,000, 1.4 million, all right, we're in a luxury market and above, right?
Yeah.
So cherry picking one example out of 5,000 listings at any given point in Toronto, right? And then saying, look, the market is crashing, is just not factual anymore, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So there's another example in Mississauga. Let me get to it right here. 199 Caldwell Avenue in Mississauga sold for $800,000 loss last month after selling for $400,000 over asking price at $2.6 million in the spring of 2021. So a year later, March 2022, they did ask for $3.4 million, and Luke talks about speculators, and maybe this is a luxury home speculator. You know what? You invest in anything, there's chances of losing money.
Sure.
So I don't think this is an indication of the average person or the average market or the median house market at all anywhere in Canada.
Sure.
people will take risks to make money.
Yeah.
And really, like, how many people are doing this? I'm sure there's a measurable amount, but I don't think you can blame or take an indication from a cherry picking an example.
Sure.
It sold later for $1.8 million. All right. You know what the average price increase from 2022 to 2023 December was for a detached home in the GTA? I know because I looked it up.
Okay.
It's just a little over 1% increase in the median price.
Okay.
Now, to be fair, condos, semi-detached, and townhouses range somewhere between like less than 1% decrease to 2%.
Okay.
So that seems like a pretty flat market. That doesn't feel like there's a housing crash. And,
Sure.
and I'm going to repeat myself. I don't think the luxury market is an indication of what the whole market is doing.
Yeah, 100%.
I think it's that simple.
I think, and I think we talk about when it was at its peak, when the market was,
20, 21, 22, whatever.
bananas in terms of buyers. We would explain to our clients that this isn't going to last. It can't last. And we're going to come to a point where it's going to flatten out or whatever is going to happen here. We understand it's all different once the government gets involved because they know everything, right? They know what's best for everything and everybody. And so it's only a matter of time before they solve all of our problems.
Of course.
Right? So anyway, the point of all of that is I think you need, from a realtor's point of view, part of our responsibility as a realtor is to make sure that people know going into the situation, what does this situation look like?
Giving a broader look at things, even though we're examining specific properties as we go, and how do they fit into the broader market.
Sure. And I tell my clients, and I still to this day tell them when I explain what happens in this market is I tell them, it's like throwing a rock in a pond. If Victoria is where the rock goes in, everywhere going out from Victoria is eventually going to be affected by the waves that are made in Victoria.
That's a really good point because he does bring up the outlying areas, right? Where it's like, oh, hey, realtors were never saying that 2 years ago. I don't know. I've been saying it for 20 years.
Right.
Right. I don't care what market it is.
Sure.
This is what it happens like a cycle.
Yeah.
Right. This is not a mystery. This is not anything. I'm just reminding people when I work with them.
Right. And I'll use an analogy or something I tell my daughter all the time. Sweet pea, it's not rocket science. Sometimes it's just simple, right?
Sometimes it's just as simple as that.
Right.
And anytime we've seen the luxury market, I always thought of it like a pendulum. After like 2008, 2009, prices came down, but it's not the same as what we had in 2009.
Sure.
Let's say.
Sure.
We have about the same amount of sales that happen overall in a year.
Yeah.
But like the unemployment figures are not there.
Yeah.
I don't see all the diesel trucks for sale. I don't see a big used car market.
Yeah.
That's crashing. Let's say, right?
Well,
there isn't other symptoms to support that.
Sure.
This claim. How about that, right?
Yeah.
We were talking about the Airbnb condo crisis. There was a listing in the Janyan building. It was a 300 square foot micro unit, was listed in September for like $475,000. I could be wrong by $10,000, so give me a break if that's wrong. And then November hit, and Premier EB changes the rules on everybody, and now tanks the value of this property that had a different use and now doesn't have it.
Right.
Sells for $300,000.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
But there's
Could you say the market? No, the market is not crashing.
Yeah, you can't take
one sale.
Right.
Here.
You can't take any more than you can say the reason we have a housing issue and a real estate issue is because of immigration. You can't take one thing.
It's all part of this moving,
That's right.
Moving, living thing, right?
Yeah. So,
but that was lots of fun. I really enjoy actually Luke's videos from Market Mania Canada. Sometimes he describes himself as a contrarian, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes it's a little bit negative, and I think we're just trying to balance out some of that context that's out there. We don't completely disagree with him.
Well, we
but
didn't.
there's some stuff that it's like, well, we don't see it quite like that, right?
Yeah, for sure. So, well, thank you for joining us for that today. If you have, if there's something you say, hey, you guys should look at this and this would be something good to respond to, certainly put it in the comments because we'd love to do that. And if you haven't, please take a minute and subscribe. We put out content now 3+ times a week, so you want to make sure that you're getting all of that. So make sure that you subscribe.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll catch you in the next video.
See ya.